Hello, and greetings to you. This is Dr. Ardeshir Mehran from Northern California, and welcome to this session about when a woman is depressed and the science and the pathway to reclaim her voice. This is a very specific session, and to be honest, I'm very excited about it. I've been waiting for this. This is a fourth in a session. The fourth in a series that I started actually about a month and a half ago. The first session on a Thursday was about early signs of depression. Then depression in men and husbands. Next, depression in leaders. And now when a woman is depressed. Men and women depression, they show and their healing are very different in terms of how they're addressed. And let me see, you are not seeing me yet. Let me come on screen for you to see me. And so our session is 30 minutes. And in this 30 minutes, any question, any comments, the only way that I can interact with you is through comments. This is LinkedIn Live, it's not like Zoom that I see your wonderful faces, which I know people are attending from throughout the United States, Europe, Middle East, Israel, and Asia. Welcome, welcome. And so comments are the only way for me to know your questions, your reactions, your comments. Any comments or question you have sensitive in nature, write me directly. You have my information, and I will respond to it. So let me get to the point, and just give me a second. So when a man is depressed, they make others miserable around them. When a woman is depressed, they make themselves miserable. I've seen this theme over many years and working with many individuals, and this theme continuously holds true. When a man is depressed, people around them, they see them as testy, moody, snappy. At work, they are hard to work with, hard to work for. They can be judgmental, arrogant, critical, aloof, dismissive, and so on. And they come to home, their families, their siblings, partners, and children says, "What's wrong? What's going on with that?" When women is depressed at work, you cannot tell. They're wonderful employees. They rise to the rank quickly. They perform wonderfully. And their demeanor, their attitude, everything is just stellar. At home, you cannot tell, but people say, "What's going on with mom? Mom is tired. Mom is distant." When you work with women who are depressed, what they say that, "I don't feel well, and I don't know what happened to that young girl." If you ask a man, "How are you feeling?" A man who's depressed, the answer probably is, "I don't want to talk about it." When a woman is depressed, you ask them, "How you're feeling?" Probably she will say, "I'm fine." Those are big differences. And here, this session is about unpacking that. We will talk about what happened when women are depressed. There's a logic to that, and there are patterns about that. We will try to see that, and I will provide insights and action you can use this week. And I also have a good news to share at the end with you. And this is not a therapy session. If you do not make any changes to your treatment plan, talk to your clinician first. But the session at times will feel tender. So let's go to work. What we will talk today is depression. What are the signals, physical signals in women? What are the behavioral signals? Things that are right in front of us, actually, but we may not see it, or we may not be able to interpret it correctly. I will talk about the truth about depression. Depression, my friends, is not a settled science. There are holes in it. There are a lot of fuzzy thinking about it. That's why some of our treatment plans and results we get, they are not reliable and sustainable. And I will share science-backed antidote to depression. Let me introduce myself. Some of you know me. many don't. I'm a doctor in psychology therapy from Columbia University, multiple degrees, credentials, certifications, and I became along the way an expert in depression, trauma, PTSD, anxiety, but depression has always been my sole focus. And I'm a researcher. I continuously study this. And 2 years ago, I wrote a book that became a bestseller, actually. Here's the book, which I hope you consider. You Are Not Depressed, You're Unfinished. It talks about the different way narratives about depression. Just look at the Amazon and how people found this book helpful to them. And those two colorful charts you see, what I bring to the world is depression, and the personality, emotional pattern of depression is quantifiable. You can pinpoint the sources of depression in your life, in your daily experiences. And that helps you to bring precision and structure to about reversing depression. Depression is solvable, healable rather quickly. How did I end up here? I had no idea, folks. I've been obsessed, literally obsessed of two questions in my life. Today's session is about women. The first woman in my life that I tried to be of help to was my mother. Wonderful woman, force of nature, larger than life. She struggled with depression all her life. She's no longer here. She, unfortunately, I cannot be of help to my mother anymore. But I saw that, and that became my calling call in terms of what's going on with mom. And later on, mom became what's going on with my colleagues, with my friends, my coworkers, and now the society. And answering to question, what is depression? And I found out that we are actually not getting depression correctly. And why does it take for depression to be resolved? And why does it take so long? And I learned that actually it doesn't. Depression can be resolved rather efficiently and expeditiously. So with that, let's go to work. What I like to do is ask you the following, that I want to do this together. One of my mentors and a leading figure, towering figure in the field of modern psychotherapy is Dr. Peter Levine. I work with him. He says, your issues are in your tissues. What he brought to the world is that, let me just make sure, give me a second. What he brought to the world is that our emotions, they are not in our head. Even the term mental health, mental illness, scientifically is incorrect. Our entire physiology, body, are involved when we deal with emotions, about healing, about illness. And for this part, I like for us to do this together. So I invite you, as you're sitting, wherever you're sitting, wherever you are, take few comfortable breaths and bring your attention, as you're listening to me, you hear my voice, to your entire body, head to toes. And see what you're noticing, your body sensation, your body experiences. And bring your attention to your body. And I want to share with you a way to notice your body, as I've been noticing my clients for years and years, about when they show up for treatment working with me. It's not just what they report. Their entire body is speaking. So this is about the signals of depression and distress can be right in front of you. So as we look in that, so when a client works with me from the get-go, whether it's in person, in Zoom, there's a quality to their upper body expression. It's flat. The tone of voice is typically monotone. And when you listen to them, there's a flatness. Even at times, the base of the neck, it seems, is tight, and their voice gets raspy. When they want to get something exciting to say, they struggle to bring more air, more breath to them, to their speaking. And their gaze at times is uncomfortable, averting. It's almost like, don't look at me. And the rigid posture, you can see it in their shoulders, in their upper jaws. And so the very first thing you notice is their element of lockdown of the upper body. This is very common in men and women, but more in women, about the flatness of expression. So as I'm going through this, pay attention to yourself, your body, and what you're noticing. Next one is a midsection, their heart. When we are depressed, by the way, to know scientifically, when we are depressed for a long period of time, depression and anxiety almost always go together. When we are depressed, we're also anxious. So there's a racing heart, there's a shallowness of breath. So it's doing some of the exercises about mindfulness. At times is a challenge initially for clients to let the body open up. And they look wired and tired. Their calendars are full. They're running around. They have so many to-do lists for them. And at the same time, they say, I cannot sleep. I cannot let go. Everybody depends on me. And there are multiple evidences of physical pain, typically shoulders, the neck, jaws, forehead, all the way to migraine headache, shooting pain down their arms, and so on. A piece of data for you, this is interesting, that every day across the United States in primary care departments, every day, up to 1/3 of visits are due to depression. Doctors know this. They prescribe multiple medications and they typically don't work. The patient will come back again. Physical pain is one of the indirect symptoms of depression. So as I'm speaking about this, think about your own experience with physical pain. The next one you see more in women is about the belly area, gut area. It's gut complication, about iterative bowel syndrome, constipation, diarrhea, and the stomach knot. Or some of my clients initially, what they talked about when we do body scanning, they would talk about, I just don't feel anything. There's a void. And that actually, there's not such thing as void. It means about we have emotions we never listen to. And stomach is a center of anxiety. That's where anxiety resides. So as you're listening to me, you're doing your scanning, do you sense any of these areas? And the reason our bodies start to speak to us is whenever we suppress things here, we express things here. So part of the work, the healing work that I do, therapy work that I do, and many clients, many therapists, your body finally releases pain, tightness, and soreness. So part of the work of healing depression is letting your body speak, noticing the sign, and resolving things. When women are depressed, they numb things. They numb their experiences. So I want to talk about what does numbness looks like. And again, I invite you, colleagues, to pay attention to yourself. And as I go to what I'll be sharing with you in the next 4 pages, I call them 4Ds. There are 4 dimensions to experience. See how they resonate with you. Do you sense them in your life? The very first D, let me just go there. Okay. Just 1 second. Is when one of the common way of numbing depression is deprivation. This is signal. Again, pay attention. That it's about enduring unmet emotional, physical, and the relational needs for so long, appeasing, being there for others, pleasing, and self-care, self-sacrifice is shown as love and caring for others. Women who are depressed, they sacrifice a lot of themselves. And when you ask them, how are you feeling? They say, I'm fine. And the comments my client, this is one of the clients, says, I give everything for my job, for my family. I need support, but there's no one there for me. And she says, that's life. I told myself, deal with it. Deprivation. Do you sense this, colleagues? The next one signals is that deliberately And a lot of time, unconsciously, we deny our needs, silencing, ignoring parts of ourselves, voice, anger, grief, ambition, creativity, sensuality, and lust to survive, to belong, to fit in. And I to come and say that, I never let myself get angry. If I do, people will not like me, push me away. So I just swallow it. Do you see element of denying in your life? Disconnection. You remember there was a book by Elizabeth Gilbert a few years ago, about 10 years ago, Eat, Pray, Love. This is that story. That for many women, they lose touch with their own needs. And they're not even aware of that. Their body becomes dormant about desires, feeling, relationships, or what they truly want. And what they say, again, at Commons, the client says that I go through my day on autopilot. Can't remember when was the last time I felt truly alive. They say I'm fine, but they are longing to feel alive and to bring that person that has been dormant for so long. The last D of numbing that you see in depression is distraction, substitution, delays, work, addiction. You see people, many women, busy, work, family, school, so on, addiction. It comes in multiple ways, scrolling, perfectionism, and overcommitting, instead of slowing down and facing the inner truth. That whenever I feel low, when I feel bad about myself, I watch Netflix end to end to the point I'm too tired to feel and to think. So these were some of the signs about depression, what it means. It can be all around us. We can be all the experience in our daily life. Let's go to the root cause about what's going on, what's beneath all of this. Gabor Mate, one of the leading experts in health and illness, has a statement which I love. It says, depression isn't a flaw or chemical imbalance. No, it's not. He's right. Depression is a searching, a deeply felt need for something that is missing in one's life. So if you're depressed, and I know this for a fact, my book is a story of my depression, how I came about it, and it was find out things that they were missing in my life. So what was missing? Let me help you with an alternative view to depression. The opposite of depression is not happiness. Depression is fulfillment, denied. If there's one sentence, one word, remember from today's session is the fulfillment. So if you're depressed, my friend, on this call, the question I was asking, what compromises you've made and what is not feeling fulfilled in your life? I will show you fulfillment in a few pages, what it looks like. And depression is an adaptive response. We all know what it looks like to an unfulfilling life. There's nothing wrong with your brain, your chemical imbalance. Depression feels as prolonged sense of disconnection, loss, and grieving. There's a sorrow behind depression, and shows as numbness, anger, agitation, and feeling broken. Here's what I believe is the promise of depression. Depression is a wake-up call. I don't see it as illness. It's a wake-up call, and my clients have experienced this. And depression is a byproduct of living an unfulfilled life. Friends, if you are not enjoying your life, you're feeling bad about yourself, it's not because you're depressed. It's the other way around. You're living a life that is not working for you. It has passed its expiration date, and your depression is telling you to wake up. Depression is a nudge to restore your vitality, your power, your voice, and your truth delayed for too long. And you can use depression to live, love, and lead better. Now let's go about what it looks like. The antidote to depression is fulfilled living, and it looks like this. Going back to my book, and behind me, Let me show you that you see a colorful chart, a banner, and a poster. Depression is based upon series of emotional needs that we all have, we all long for, we all are hungry for, and these are our birthright to experience, to fulfill in our lifetime. There are 7 of them, and they're universal, cradle to grave. They've been with us throughout the human history. When we are depressed, one or multiple of the needs have been violated, dismissed, not given enough voice, enough development, enough parenting or support to experience and fully own them. So when somebody tells me I'm depressed, Ardeshir, what I ask them is that, dear friend, what rights have you given away? And your work is about claiming your right to health and fulfillment. So in going back to women, and again, those rights are I belong, I matter, I make, I'm boundless, I'm complete, I am, and I soar. If you go to my website, which you have the information on the first page, I have many information, the YouTube, downloadable documents, podcasts, articles, just explaining all these needs. And you can learn about them. You can read my book. And that's what I share about our emotional needs. Now, going back to women, when women are depressed, there's foundational the weakness in 3 of their needs. The needs of belonging, needs of sense of connection and love in their lifetime, in their life, in the people around them. When women are depressed, there's an element of being complete, that feeling enough, not being tethered down by shame, guilt, and a sense, I don't feel good about myself. And there's a lot of self-doubt, self-criticism for the women who are depressed. And a sense of I am. I am is about your true voice. Knowing it, honoring that, and bring it to the world versus trying to fit in, trying to lose your voice, your power, your mojo into the world. So as a way to bring this for this week, I invite you to consider this, how you go from feeling alive, feeling fine to feeling alive. Feel free to take a snapshot of these 3 pages. I am, which one of the most magnificent emotional rights is bringing your voice, as you believe in it, as you sense it and feel it to the world. So something to practice this week. Which personal value is non-negotiable for me this week? One personal value. And what is one small action that shows it? Bring you to yourself. And if I use my true voice for 60 seconds today, what would I say to whom? These are baby steps about claiming what we believe internally. Sense of belonging. This is very tender for many people. We know many professionals, leaders, CEOs are lonely. Harvard Business Review reported in a study that up to 50% of CEOs report being lonely. This is not lonely at the top. This is lonely as a quality of life. We can be in a room full of people who admire us. They're family members, but we can be lonely, isolated, and feel we are not seen. So this week, consider this. When did you last feel a flicker of I'm seen and loved here? Who was in the room? What was happening in that moment? And what are the ways to recreate that? At what connections do you crave right now that makes you feel better and truer this week? Let's go to I am complete. I'm complete is about being alive, being right now, being present. What part of your story wants to be acknowledged today, not fixing? You're good just as you are. And what one small closure step you could take to feel 5% more I'm enough this week? These are exercises for getting better. As I'm getting to the end, feel free to write on the chat comments, reactions, anything resonates or you want me to shed lights on those. So as I'm wrapping, I want to go to the next slide. For women and depression, it's about awakening, claiming, and moving from a busy life, commitment, and I'm fine to claiming about what's been yours and what you've denied yourself for so long. The steps that I shared with you, first to start noticing your body. Sometimes it's easier to notice those earlier pages, your upper body, your heart and lungs, your belly, and then your emotional needs, and those 4 areas that about numbness. First, start by noticing. When you notice that, go to your emotional rights about what you create. So, good news. I want to bring this work to you. Let me just build this page. I'm offering in next week, I'll be announcing and opening a registration for 21-day fulfillment accelerator. It's the women only cohort. I don't believe anything like this has been done. And it's focused on women who feel depressed and they are dealing for dormant emotions for so long. I do a separate session for men. Men and women are different. They have different needs. They have different pathways for coming from fog of depression, what I call from unfinished to unstoppable. This is going from turning your depression to higher clarity, energy, connection, and better leadership. In those 21 days, everybody starts when doing the mapping, diagnosis. You remember those 2 pages showed you. What is a map of your emotional needs right now? What is working? What is honored? What is fulfilled? What is not fulfilled? So you get a sense about how you are at this point in your life. And the 3 weeks, the first week, we will focus on your body intelligence. What are the signal signs about your body? They're right there in front of you, and how to work and how to make adjustment in your physical expressions. Then next week, the week after, we look at emotional rights and how to create a richer emotional experience for your life as you are, wherever you are, and locking changes the last week for change. This will be very engaging experience for people coming together, and I'll be there all along every day with you. You will get daily short emails from me, the guide, experiment, things to practice for a day, and it will be a video for me under 5 minutes about things to do, things notice, and there will be live access to me. For coaching, you can reach out to me, Dr. Mehran, and we will use WhatsApp to check in with each other, to connect with each other. And there will be a weekly Zoom call for coaching, for questions, and building community, celebrating each other. The outcomes will be your depression under control. You will get a lot more clarity about what is going on and how do I turn my depression around. You will have a calmer body and calmer mind, better boundaries. you will be able to make some tough choices and stand up for yourself emotionally, stronger connections, and a better plan that actually will work for you going forward. So I'm looking at the clock, 30 seconds right on the dot. If there are any questions, reactions, please feel free to put them in and I will respond to them.